You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, third day of December 25. Thanks for joining us. Whoever you are, glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. One's public, one's private. First broadcast of the day, that's our live training room. Get in there, you gotta be one of our traders or taking your 1-week trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, Michael joins us at the top of the hour. He'll walk you through it step by step. It'll take 3 minutes of your time. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Trial will officially begin tomorrow morning, Thursday, and run all the way through next Wednesday afternoon. Weekends don't count against you, and there is a credit card required. Now, you do gain access to the live training room 2 hours every trading day. You also have access to all the other things we do the other 22 hours of the day. You see, work around the clock. Go to work Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Keep our nose to the grindstone right up until Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern. Forex markets close. And you are going to have access to all of it. At the end of your trial, our goal is that you will be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Stick around, top of the hour, Michael will walk you through a couple of simple steps to set your trial in motion. Now, the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Break and come back for this broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth, internet connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says New Broadcast. The link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you'll have access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still... Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live. But you do want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,900 daily episodes archived, educational. Thanks to the power of YouTube, actually see how we've evolved over the years. You can get to know who we really You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to watch them all. It is a great resource to have at your fingertips. And again, you can literally see how we've evolved over the day by day. YouTube.com/CF. On the left side of the screen, you'll see our daily schedule. Dive right into our devotional. This will be the final day on the topic that we've been on for this is our 28th day. How to share your faith. Today's scriptures, Mark 4, verses 16, 19, and I'm going to share it from the NIV translation. Others, like seed sown on rocky places, hear the word and at once receive it with joy. Since they have no root, they only last a short time. Trouble or persecution comes because of the word. They quickly fall away. Still others, like seed sown among thorns, hear the word. Worries of this life, deceitfulness of wealth, the desires for other things come in and choke the word, making it. That was Mark 4, verses 16. Reality check. People receive Christ. Spiritual journey isn't over. It's just the beginning. The road ahead won't always be easy. There will be many dangers and obstacles along the way. Jesus recognized that many appeared to respond to the gospel, fail to persevere to maturity. For some, it is because the road is too hard. For others, the alternatives are attractive. Young believers, help and encouragement. Others, they need to understand the hardships ahead and to be encouraged to press on. That's why it's essential mentors guide and encourage. Sharing your faith has eternal implications. Following Jesus is not problem-free. It is power. I encourage you to memorize 1 Corinthians 10:18. Having this verse memorized helps equip you. Encourage younger believers. They face various questions. I'm not going to read it. I want you to look it up. I want you to read it. And as you read it, if you'll write it down as you're reading it, it's the quickest way. Something about, and if you want to even go one step further, read it out loud and write it down as you're reading it out loud. I have it memorized in no time. 1 Corinthians 10:18. Let's pray. Lord, guard our hearts from being like the rocky soil that cannot endure, and from the thorns that choke out your word. Remove anything that distracts us or pulls us away from trials, worries, or the pursuit of worldly things. Make our hearts soft, steady, and fruitful, so your word can grow deep roots, a harvest. It's in Jesus' name. Believe and pray. Everybody said, Amen and happy Wednesday. Hump day, they call it. Time zone you're in, if it's past noon. Now it's a downhill slide into the week. Give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow's up 226 points. NASDAQ is down 12. S&P 500 up 7. Russell 2000 up 26 points. That's a little over 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 32 cents, trading 58.96 last. Gold up $14.50, trading 42.530 last. Silver down 2 cents, trading 58.67 last. Asian markets at the close. Nikkei gained 561 points, well over 1%. Shanghai dropped 19. Hang Seng fell 300 and over 1.25%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 9, DAX down 28, the CAC up 12. So we had a mixed day in Asia, mixed day for the UK, and at the moment, it's a big green radio Wednesday here, the US of A. Take a look at the news. Hang on a minute. Hong Kong is establishing an independent committee to investigate last week's apartment complex fire, killed 156 people, and to initiate reforms in the construction industry. Over a dozen people affiliated with the complex's renovation have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter after netting around a high-rise building caught fire last Wednesday. Blaze spread to 6 other buildings. A preliminary probe found 7 of 20 netting samples didn't meet safety code, prompting authorities to accuse contractors of misleading inspectors to cut costs. The Labor Department had conducted 16 project inspections since July of 2024, including one just a week prior, and told residents who raised safety concerns that a fire was relatively unlikely. Authorities declined to comment on reports that civilians were arrested over the weekend after demanding government accountability for the fire. In reaction to 2019 pro-democracy demonstrations, Beijing has passed down national security laws that can effectively criminalize free speech and protests. We discussed this yesterday just a little bit. Michael and Susan Dell have announced they will donate $6.3 billion to 25 million American children, among the largest ever private donations to Americans. The donation is designed to fill some gaps from Trump accounts, 530A accounts established by Congress earlier this year. Those accounts, similar to 529 plans, will be seeded with $1,000 each for all U.S. children born between 2025 and 2028. Money will be invested in tax-deferred index funds. Families who max out the $5,000 per year contributions could expect their children to accumulate $191,000 tax by age 18. And I've been telling you guys for years, the index fund, if you're young, is the way to go. Now, I've always said, if you got somebody young in your life, like 19 or 20, 21, 25, right? This is from the cradle, right? Birth. Imagine you, think back to the day that you turned 18. Imagine if you had had $191,000. Now, you can't just spend it willy-nilly. You can't go partying in Cancun some spring break. It has to be spent on education, and there are some other stipulations. But this is incredible. The Dell donation will similarly provide seed funding, $250 per child, for nearly 80% of U.S. children aged 10 and younger. Kids born before 2025, whose families live in zip codes with a median income of $150,000 or less. The Dells are one of the wealthiest families in the U.S. Michael Dell, who founded Dell Technologies in 1984, has a reported fortune of nearly $150 billion. So it's awesome of them to donate this $6.3 billion to America's children. And guess what? The $150 billion, that's their net worth. They'll never miss it. I mean, if they went on the most insane spending spree you can imagine, there's no way they could spend all that money. It will compound interest is a powerful thing. That money will make more money than they can ever spend. Incredible. Feeling a little chilly. Powerful winter storms swept from the Midwest to the Northeast this week, unleashing heavy snow, blizzard conditions, and dangerous winds across a broad strip of the U.S. Kicking off meteorological winter, up to 70 million people were affected from the Central Plains to northern Maine. The Northeast saw its first widespread snow and ice of the season. Interior areas picked up some of the highest totals, with parts of northern New England reporting up to 12 inches. Strong winds and pockets of ice made travel dangerous. The storm followed a weekend system that dumped more than 8 inches at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, breaking a November snowfall record set in 1950. Wow, that's a big deal. Post-storm, Arctic air will deepen the cold through the weekend. Sub-zero temperatures in the plains and upper West. When I first met Bert back in 2008, I asked him, I go, how in the world handle that cold? He lives in the suburbs and he has to take the train into the city, so that means getting up early, car out of the driveway, scraping all the ice off of it, driving to the train station, getting on the train, taking the train into the city, getting off the train, and then walking to the office. And as you know, he gets there early, before the market's open. I said, how do you do it, man? I said, well, I guess the same way you live with 120-degree temperatures in the summer. Fair enough. Into Wall Street. U.S. private employers lost 32,000 positions in November. Job creation seemingly locked in a standstill, according to the private payroll processor ADP. Firm's revised data showed a gain of 47,000 jobs in October, coming off losses in September and August. Job creation has essentially been flat in the second half of this year, ADP said, and small businesses in particular appeared to struggle. Well, if Jerome would lower the interest rates, which maybe he will, at a FOMC in 7 days from today. I guess it would be next Wednesday. Yeah. Hiring has been choppy of late as employers weather cautious consumers and an uncertain macroeconomic environment. And while November's slowdown was broad-based, it was led by a pullback among small businesses. About 46% of all U.S. employees work for small businesses, according to data. What case is that small businesses stay with a lower head count for a bit of time until we get through some of these inflationary increases in prices, until we get more certainty on the macro environment. Give me a freaking break. Under Joe Biden, we had the highest inflation in 40 years, 9%. But now everyone's afraid to get a job or hire somebody or launch a new product. Because all the news channels, the ABCs, the CBS, the NBC, say we should be worried and we should be scared. Anyway. Hey, we won the election in Tennessee last night. By the way, I see they didn't bother to put that in my news feed. Now, it wasn't a huge win, which is a little concerning, but my goodness, the woman that was running on the Democrat side, she hates country music. She hates basically everything that Nashville is to the world. She hates it. She's very vocal about it. And at one point, as the results were coming in last night, she actually pulled ahead. Oh boy. And yeah, we got the midterms coming up. Hopefully, by the time people start filing their taxes, here in just a month or two, people are going to see a lot of what Trump has done is going to actually start to hit their pocketbooks. Social Security benefits, Social Security recipients are getting a break. Families in general are getting a break. No tax on tips. I mean, the list goes on. So, let's see. OpenAI's Sam Altman is rallying his people to improve ChatGPT as new offerings from Google and Anthropic up the competition. But while AI players are duking it out, scrambling for advantage and spending like mad, merit in taking it all in and plotting your next move. Not everyone can do this, of course. Apple can. The iPhone maker and AI laggard announced a major personnel shakeup earlier this week, signaling an inflection point in its AI strategy. Out is its top AI leader, John Giannandrea, presided over the company's struggles to release a cutting-edge AI product while its chief rivals and many of its consumers forged ahead. N is Amar Subramanya, right? An AI exec from Microsoft who previously spent 16 years at Google and served as the head of engineering for the Gemini assistant. I believe that this was a major reset while expecting more outside hires for Cook and Company. Get Apple on the right track when it comes to AI. Change-up comes after Apple's highly touted AI updates to Siri have been delayed until next year, adding to the perception by analysts and investors that Apple has missed the AI train. It also comes after an impressive quarter powered by strong iPhone sales, showing that the company can still afford this time. Imagine if Steve Jobs had never invented an iPhone. All right. U.S. import prices were unexpectedly unchanged. Unexpectedly unchanged. You heard. In September, as high costs for consumer goods, excluding motor vehicles, were offset by cheaper energy products. Flat reading in import prices reported by the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics on Wednesday followed a downwardly revised 0.1% gain in August. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast import prices, which exclude tariffs, rising 1% after a previously reported 3% advance in August. 12 months through September, import prices increased 0.2%. That was the first year-on-year rise since March and followed a 0.1% dip in August. The report was delayed by a record 40-day shutdown of the government. Pass-through from tariffs to consumer prices has so far been modest. Economists saying businesses were opting to absorb this. Marvell Technology rallied after reassuring investors that its custom chip design unit is winning repeat orders, signaling continued growth as the company benefits from runaway spending on AI computing. On a post-earnings conference call with analysts yesterday, Marvell said it's more bullish about revenue growth next year, predicted that custom chip sales will increase 20%. Large customers have renewed orders, and Marvell said that there won't be a repeat of air pockets. Sales in that unit have declined. The company also announced plans to acquire startup Celestial AI for at least $3.25 billion, a move it said would bolster the artificial intelligence push. Chief Executive Officer Matt Murphy indicated that Marvell revenue could reach $10 billion in the next fiscal year, well above the $9.47 billion predicted by analysts. Very optimistic about our outlook over the next couple of years. First saw that headline, I thought they were talking about Mars. Treasury Secretary Bessent said he was very optimistic about the U.S. economy next year, given increased capital investments. Said interest rate cuts were needed, given a weakening in certain sectors, including housing. Bessent told the New York Times Deal Book Summit that China was on track to complete its commitments under a U.S.-China trade agreement, including the purchase of 12 million metric tons of soybeans, which he said would be finished by the end of February 6. I will say that China is on track to keep every part of the deal every part of the deal said. I find it interesting that nowhere in any of my news feeds today is there any mention of the fact that the Fed, that's the Federal Reserve, which has nothing to do with the government, made its second largest injection of capital to the U.S. economy in history. The largest came the COVID crisis. Second largest yesterday. Yet it's not on the news. How is that possible? Well, now the Fed is claiming they didn't have to print this money. All right. What did you do? Use black magic? I mean, President Trump is pardoning Democrat Representative Henry, Texas, after the Biden administration charged him and his wife with bribery. Trump announced on Truth Social a full and unconditional pardon of beloved Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar and his wife, Elda. Henry, I don't know you, the president wrote. You can sleep well tonight. Your nightmare is finally. President Joe Biden, Department of Justice, brought charges against Cuellar and his wife, Imelda, in May of 2024. Bribery, money laundering, working on behalf of a foreign government, and conspiracy. Cuellar was one of the biggest Democrat critics of the Biden border crisis, which he described as just letting everybody in, which is exactly. For years, the Biden administration weaponized the justice system against their political opponents and anyone who disagreed with them, Trump wrote in his post announcing the pardon. One of the clearest examples of this was when Crooked Joe used the FBI and DOJ to take out a member of his own party after highly respected Congressman Henry Cuellar bravely spoke out against open borders and the Biden catastrophe. Wow. They eat. Democrats have spent the better part of 2 decades branding themselves as protectors of Americans. When you examine their actual policy choices rather than their press releases, a consistent pattern emerges. Their interventions routinely raise costs, distort markets, and ultimately hurt the very people they claim to champion. The latest foray into student lending and consumer credit is a case study in that contradiction. A chorus of congressional progressives, led predictably by Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, is now demanding that President Donald Trump halt his administration's effort to sell off portions of the federal student loan portfolio. Reasoning is as political as it is transparent. They want to keep these loans on the government's books so they can one day engineer a mass forgiveness program. Lost in this rhetoric is the structural reality. Washington's heavy-handed role in student lending is one of the primary drivers of soaring tuition. The federal government guarantees easy credit. Institutions raise prices accordingly. Warren Sanders' model, limitless federal lending, paired with periodic political promises of forgiveness, gives colleges every incentive to hike tuition even further, secure in the knowledge that taxpayers will absorb it out. That's right. You, sir, driving that forklift. Well, glad you got that high school diploma. Sorry you couldn't afford college. But we need you to keep driving that forklift, because this guy over here with the MBA, working on Wall Street, making more in a year than you'll probably make in a lifetime, he needs you to pay his student. It boggles my mind. It just does. It's my problem. Federal officials arrived in New Orleans this morning, the latest city targeted President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. The administration did not provide additional details about the mission, dubbed Operation Catahoula Crunch. Catahoula Crunch. I don't know what that means. But said it was in response to a lack of coordination with local law enforcement. Sanctuary policies endanger American communities by releasing illegal aliens and forcing DHS law enforcement to risk their lives to remove criminal aliens that should have never been put back on the streets. I mean, we see this again and again. These rogue judges. One that's about to come up on charges for his shenanigans. They think they run the nation. In fact, I posted something today. I'm going to show it to you. It's in the Breeze channel. If any judge anywhere can block every presidential order everywhere, see how we go from everywhere? We do not have democracy. We have tyranny of the judiciary. That post was from Elon Musk. Think about this, because we're seeing it happen right before our eyes. If any judge anywhere can block every presidential order everywhere, we do not have democracy. We have tyranny of the judiciary. He's one smart cat. Nailed it. Because that's the problem that we have right now. Every good thing Trump tries to do, some lunatic judge says, no, you can't do that. Now, why have we never seen this before under any president? I mean, what law changed that suddenly gave these judges all this power? Something rotten. Somebody gets to the bottom. I think maybe the Supreme Court might want to step in. I'm sure they have a busy day. Logic 247, that's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, also crude and silver. Currently in week 383. Over the last 383 weeks, we've issued over 21,100 individual handcrafted alerts. Averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of those alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did this recap last night at midnight. I didn't put anything out last night. Why? Because I didn't. I put out a couple this morning. I don't know if anything happened with them. She'll update the recap this afternoon, as she always does. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, through last night at midnight, we had issued a total of alerts, and we were still waiting on the outcome of 6. It gave us 25 actionable alerts. 12% stopped out. Again, based on simple market structure, the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, and it has an initial target designed to help your goal for the day. And in most cases, there will be additional targets and then a final target. Purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. If you never trade a single logic alert, use them for the purpose intended. That's to make you fluent in the language of this. When you look at a chart, there's words, no sentences, no paragraphs, no punctuation. New language. Some people think they can shortcut it by some parlor trick of some sorts. No. You don't understand what's happening by looking at the big picture, smaller picture inside of the bigger picture. You know what, Russian nesting dolls, okay? Think of that as multiple time frames. You got your monthly, your weekly, your daily. Below that, a lot of folks use a 4-hour. My favorite's a 30-minute. And then most of our traders actually execute on a much smaller time frame, a range chart. But you need to have an understanding of what's happening in these larger time frames, because that's going to direct what happens in this shorter time frame. The purpose of the shorter time frame is allow you to get in and get out with surgical precision. But you need to be aware of what's happening in the bigger picture. I'm telling you, 2 weeks, take every logic alert, horizontal lines at every price, every number that's in that alert. Pretty soon you'll be reading the charts like an old pro. Once you know how to read the charts, then you can learn how to trade. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. It's the logic alerts. Not to be confused with our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Logic alerts have been around a little over 7 years, but years before Logic 247 had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. They're different in a lot of ways, but for the purpose of this discussion, we'll just say they don't come out around the clock. Published as a static report shortly before the Globex opened each evening. Wednesday session that we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. All of our traders had all of these targets, 5 minutes, market. Yes, S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, oil, the NQ, silver. So as we go through the individual markets and you see these targets drawn out on the charts, just remember our traders had that information 5 minutes. That to the chart, start where we always do. Bellwether, the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. C stands for bull cross. Price crosses above the green line, we're bullish. Price crosses below the green line, we're bearish. Above the green line. Now, remember, price always reverts to the mean, and here's the deal. Pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Sometimes it's 4 days. Yeah, you could argue that was a 5-day. 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, 1 day. This was a real interesting one. A 6-day pullback held. Every one of the candles is actually physically touching the green. Not only did the 6-day pullback hold, it launched us to new all-time historic highs, both intraday and close. So, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg, retracement, leg. That's how markets work. So, the question that we're on now, is this simply a deeper retracement in this ongoing uptrend? Or have we started something new, such as leg, retracement, leg, retracement? Now we're right up against an area. See here? 1, 2, 3 days. The high here, 68, 63, 75, 64 half, 63 half, 62 and a so far today. Point is this is some major resistance. It's held for 4 days. Is price currently trying to break out above it? Yeah, like it is. So where should you expect potential resistance if we continue to move to the upside? And the fact that we just had a bullish cross here, that's when the blue line crosses the green. Keep climbing. Plus, we're at the time of year where everyone expects the Santa Claus rally, which historically has happened. We saw it going into Thanksgiving. Now we got Christmas. Maybe the markets don't fall apart till January, but a deeper correction is coming. We've not had a 24% retracement in a long time, and that's the shallowest possible fib retracement. Over here, you can see we've been finding support. First, we got resistance at the 62% fib extension. Then it became support, 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 support. Next area, 68.74 and 68.87 and 68.98 and 69.08, the all-time historic high. That's if we keep heading higher. Santa Claus rally kicks in. Doesn't, going to be surprised at this point. Okay. Still believe a deeper correction is coming. Much deeper than this, this, or this. Talking about. Like, what? That's not, that could never happen. It can. So, meantime, we'll trade what's in front of us. All right. All the alerts, the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, they're all created on the 30-minute chart. It's the time frame of years. Nothing magical about it. It's just I picked a time frame and I've stuck with it. You to do the same. It doesn't have to be the 30 minutes. Just pick something and stick with it. Now, vertical lines separate today, Wednesday. Here's Tuesday. Back over here is Tuesday. Horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. They're published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Not change in any way whatsoever. Price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect resistance until proven. Price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. So yesterday we had support, 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 support. This zone is 68.17/18. This candle was exactly 68.18. Whenever the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance, right? So coming off of this support right up to a Monday, see right there where blue red, obviously blue is bullish, red is bullish, but you see that inflection point right? That's this high right here. are just right. See, look at the horizontal line. So we run into resistance, market backtracks, finds support, makes another run. Now blue and climbing is directly above price. Resistance, we hit resistance, resistance. Now we do pull back to the C. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. Over here. Back held, pull back held, pull back held. No, eventually it'll trade through. And the first back held. Sent us all the way up here. Now, this is Wednesday, Thursday, okay. Look at this high. Monday, it was actually Sunday night. Failed to take it out by just a little bit. Failed to take out a previous high by just a little bit, or previous low by just a little bit. In this case, that's a sign of weakness. And look what happened. The market plunged. Now it's one. But the market found support at the zone. Support sends us looking for resistance. Red. Yeah, we spiked it. But support at the zone, leg, support at the BC. Now we're into today. So this was the opening candle last night, 6 p.m. Eastern. Had a leg and a retracement, back held, then a leg that took us all the way up to the target by 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern. Then we consolidated and blue climbing got directly above price. That acts as resistance. Pull back to the BBC held. See every candles right touching the BBC, so the pullback. And we went on to put in this high, which failed to take out this high. Sign of weakness. Happened. That huge red candle dropped all the way down to that zone again. 6817/6818. These are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now, down today's session, we've got basically a double top. We got a high here of 62 and a quarter. We got a high here of 63. We got a 3-tick higher high. Now, got to take this out. Then we got to take this out in order to get on the Dow. Dow's really been cranking lately. We opened right here last night. As you can see, we found support yesterday at the zone. Resistance at the zone. Pull back hill, pull back hill. I can't say it enough. Pull back to the BBC, hold. Doesn't. On a 30-minute, hourly, hour, daily. Get into the really smaller time frames. It doesn't hold as reliably as it does on a 30-minute. But never forget, eventually, price, doesn't matter how many times the pullback holds, eventually price is going to trade through. See, now, this is actually the pullback held. Because look, both candles are still touching the green. Yet we came all the way down. Touched. Sends us looking for resistance. And that's where we are right now in price discovery. Now, I can't scroll far enough on this chart, but left, you'll see something back in time cause the market to stop right there. Now, one of three things happens when price encounters a weekly trading zone. 70% of the times consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, and 10% of the time slice. Price is still trying to climb on the down. On the Russell, yesterday we had resistance at the zone, supported. It opened last night below the BBC, found support at the zone, and then overnight we were just hugging the BBC, and we touched down at 9 o'clock this morning, touched the weekly zone tick 69/2470. That's rejection. That's consolidation. That's rejection. And all the way up to the zone, back to the BBC. This time we get above the BBC target, consolidate at the long target, and now the Russell is headed for the next zone overhead, 2511/2512. Should expect there to be resistance there. Is there a trade? I don't think so. Not until we see what happens when we hit this area where we anticipate resistance. All right, the NQ. So we opened last night, back to the BBC, off we go, up to the line. Hit it at 8. Now, consolidated along the top. Pullbacks held. Then right here, in a double top. Got below the BBC, and in one candle, 9 o'clock, and all the way down, short target. Then the next candle, we continued down, and in fact, both candles hit the zone. Support, we spiked it, bounced it back up, support again, bounced it back up. Support will send us looking for resistance. That pullback held, that pullback held, that pullback held, and the pullback is still holding. As you see, this candle is physically touching the green line. You gotta wait for a candle to above the BBC. All right, Michael's here, so we'll pick up with crude oil when I come back. I'm going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, and then do live trading as time permits. I'll come back, finish the recap, and wrap things up with our good.
Okay. Bring it over here. And we'll get right on top of it. There we go.
Here we go. Looks good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd day of December, 2025. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for this trial. Just click on that. It's going to bring you to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, make sure you give us your Trinity login ID. All right, that is what we need to get your indicators indicating on your desktop for you. All right, we had a pretty good day today, better than yesterday. We had a lot of stop outs though, 10 stop outs. We've had a lot of stop outs this week, it seems like. Anyway, today, the 3rd day of December 2025, we're up 219 ticks on the NQ, 30 ticks on the YM, 49 on gold, and the ES had our number again today. We're minus 34 on the ES today. Put us at $1,310 per contract on the morning session. Today it took 1 minute and one trade to get to $1,000. That was 8 ticks on the ES, 10 contracts on. And it took a total of 53 trades with 10 stop outs. So 81% of our trades today were break even or better. Now, I did get a little bit of a late start today. I didn't realize I had started about 6 minutes late, but it was the very first trade in the very first minute that I had sat down. All right, on the month now, we're at $4,225 over 3 business days, averaging $1,408 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $257,682 over 207 business days, averaging $1,244 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would only have had to work just under 29 hours, 28.83 hours. You'd be up $207,309, averaging $7,189 per hour. So that number's gone up quite a bit, considering. It's gone up quite a bit. There is something here that I gotta figure out. I don't know what the heck that's all about right there. This change right here. Got my best man on it, like Lar. You'll figure out what I did wrong there. But anyway, this doesn't really play into, this plays into this number here, I think. And that number is not used anywhere else. This number is, yeah, it's a sum of those numbers, but that number is not used anywhere. This is column V, 5362. It's just not used anywhere else. Anyway, excuse me, just a little sneezing fit. All right, so those were the trades that we did. Again, if you haven't taken a free trial, go here at mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that, fill out the registration page. Okay. Okay. The actual trades that we took, the majority of the trades today, they were spread around pretty well. Actually, gold had the fewest number of trades. We'll just start out with gold. Right. Let's do that. And do that. We'll start out with the gold. And we'll just go control and back to the beginning of gold. How's everyone's day going so far? Everybody good? Back to the beginning. All right. That and that and that. All right, so on the gold, our very first trade on gold was right here. We picked up 30 ticks on our first trade. That was a nice first trade right there. 30 ticks on the first trade and then 3 ticks on the second trade. Now that's an odd color of blue because it wasn't off the midpoint right there. But I picked up 3 ticks on that one, then break even, then 3 more ticks there to get us to 36. Then we had a break even there, and 1 here to get us to 37, another break even, then 10 there to get us to 47, then 2 more there to get us to 49. Okay. After that, we had a long trade right here. Well, there was one that this was during the break. There was an opportunity there to go long. That would have captured everything else through here. Would have been a break even for me if I'd have done it. So that was it, I guess, on the gold. We ended up with 49 ticks on gold. And 49 was the high of the day for us on gold. Other trades that triggered during that period, there was one there. One there. Actually, no, that wasn't one. This didn't make a full cycle, so that wasn't a valid trade. One right here. That we captured that. Right there. Would have been okay. Right there would have been okay. And that was it on the gold today. All right, right now we need to hit the midpoint and get it down close as it pulls out of the overbought. That's what gold is looking for. The YM, we had a couple of stop outs on the YM today. We had a fair number of trades, so we need to control it back on that one. Get back to the beginning. All right, so on the YM, our first trade here on the YM, we picked up 7 ticks. It seems like a few times today I had 7 ticks, but we picked up 7 on that one, and 5 there to get us to 12. Then 1 to get us to 13, 1 to get us to 14, then 2 to get us to 16. Then 7 again to get us to 23. Then we had a break even and a stop out, put us down to 8. And then we got 10 to 18, then 10 more to 28. Then we're from 28 to 37, so we got 9. And then 1 got us to 38. And then from 38 to 45. And then we stopped out, went from 45 down to 30. And that was it for the YM today. So we ended up with, yeah. That was it on the YM. I'm just looking for other trades that triggered here during the break. This was one right here. This was one right here. That didn't hit the midpoint. And that was it. We had a couple of trades. 3 right there. That was one right there. 3 trades that triggered during the break. All would have been profitable trades, or could have been profitable trades. The ES. Now the ES had our number all day. I think positive trades we had on the ES were pretty small, but you can see all the red in there, even in orange. Here, our first trade of the day on the ES is where we got the goal for the day. That was as high as we got on the ES, was that +8 right there. The next trade was a stop out, put us at -2. Then we had a +1 that got us to -1, then a +2 got us to +1, then a +4 got us all the way up to 5. Then we stopped out. That was a mistake. An orange. I think I should have gotten break even on it. That's why it was a mistake. But I stopped out. That put us down to -5. Then I picked up 8 ticks there, got us to +3. And then I stopped out to -7. Stopped out again to -17. Got 1 tick to -16. Stopped out again to -26. Got 1 tick to -25. Stopped out again to -35. And then right here, we got 1 tick again to -34. And that is where we ended it with, that is where we ended it with that. Hang on. So from there, during the break, it looks like there was 1 trade here that would have been a stop out. And that was really it. 1 more stop out. That was it on the ES. The next was the NQ, and we had a fair number of trades on the NQ. We did not end the high of the day on the NQ. Our last trade on the NQ was a stop out, I think. And that brought us down from positive 244 to 219. Let's go all the way back here. We did have some stop outs here on the NQ too. Let's go all the way back to the beginning here. All right, all the way back to the beginning. There we are. So there was a lot of activity early on the NQ. Our first trade was right here. We picked up a whopping tick, 1 tick on that one. And the next one we picked up 45, so that got us to 46. Then we got 1 more there that got us to 47. Then we went from 47 to 70, then to 71. Then from 71, we went to 72. Then we stopped out, went down to 47. Went up to 49, 50, 54. 54 to 55, 55 to 58. I'm sorry, 55 to 56, 56 to 57. We had a lot of 1 tickers in there. 57 to 61. Then finally 61 to, I can't read what that says. 61 out to 106. That's what it was, 61 to 106. So we had a 45 tick trade somewhere. And then from 106 to 142, and 142 to 154, then 154 to 199. That was written here, 154 to 199, 199 to 244, and then 244 down to 219. And that is where we ended that one. Let's see. From there was no trade here where it came out of the oversold, so none of this mattered until here. And then that wasn't a valid trade, so nothing mattered until here, and that wasn't a valid trade. That wasn't a valid trade. This wasn't a valid trade because it was, it was not flat on the bar before. Okay. Continue on. That didn't hit the midpoint, so that's not a trade. And here, this was our first trade right here. That would have been a short right there, a valid short. And moving all the way through here, we had nothing until right here. That was a valid trade. Probably been a break even for me. Well, plus one tick, because stock would go on break even automatically. Break even plus a tick. This would have been a nice trade. Hang on just 1 second. I have to deal with something here. Okay. Okay. And that was all that we did on the NQ for the morning session. So we ended up with plus 219. We ended with the stop out right there. And I was just saying, yesterday we ended with the stop out. We ended today with the stop out too. Now during the break, we had, was that a valid trade? That was a valid trade right there. That would have been a stop out. That would have been something, probably a break even if I'd have gotten that break even plus a tick. This would have been break even plus a tick. This was nothing. That was nothing. That would have been a good trade right there. Okay. Okay, so that would have been a nice trade right there. That was nothing. That was a trade there. Would have been a little bit of profit on. Nothing all through there. Then it flipped the other direction. You didn't have any trades through there. Flip back. No trades through there. Flip back again. No trades. This right here was finally a short. That probably would give me one tick, because my stop goes to break even after goes to break even plus the tick automatically is the way I have it set up. All right, so this was not a trade here because it didn't. Because it didn't come out of the oversold when it hit the midpoint right there. It came out of the oversold over here. So this would have actually been a trade. This would have been a trade right here. So that would have worked out okay. But this right here, it's deceiving, was not a trade. It gave you an up close when it went into the oversold, but that was not a valid trade right there. This was a valid trade that would have stopped out. This was a valid trade that would have stopped out. This was a valid trade. You could have gotten some back. And that brings us current. All right, so we ended on the NQ with 219 ticks. Our last trade on the NQ was a stop out. All right, so all that to say this, if you're just getting in right now and you have not taken a free trial with us, or you want to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click the purple button. No credit card required for the trial. Just click that purple button. It's going to bring you to the registration page. Fill that out. Once you fill that out, you will be sent everything you need to get into the room in the morning and to get your indicators indicating on your desktop. All right, so now we can start trading. Hopefully here. All right, so here we don't have anything right there. And here on the YM right now, we need to get something that's ready over here. Okay, that was interesting. I'm actually in a chat with GoDaddy right now as I'm doing this. Okay, hang on. Let's see, that is 760. All right, so we don't have any trades here right at the moment. The YM did not do the full cycle here, so you're not going to have a trade there. The ES has not done a full cycle, so you're not going to have a trade there. The NQ is pretty close. We just need an up close on the NQ to have a trade. Just need an up close on that NQ to have a trade there. And that has a low of 26. You'd be buying 31 on that. Okay, now that number has changed. The low is now 24.25, so you're buying 29.25 on that. Right, and that would still be a valid trade in here. And up close on the NQ at 29.25. Okay. And see if it happens. Gave the up close, but it didn't fill me. Was I wrong about the number? 28.75. Well, now we're filled. Okay, it took a second. 28.75. So 29 was the actual number. I was off by one tick. That's okay. We'll see how it goes. Looks like it's just going to stop us out. All right, and it just did stop us out. So let's go here. Put that in NQ right here. Minus 25. Okay. Total number of trades so far. So one. Oops. I think I'm going to put that here. One. Total number of stops. One. All right. Back in here now. And let's see what we end up with. All right. The ES is not going to give us a trade here because we didn't go full cycle. YM didn't go full cycle. The gold is in the red, so it needs to pull back up and get a down close. Okay. And, well, this is where we stand right now. It's 1:19, so we have about 11 minutes left in here. All right. We need to get into the, well, on the ES and the YM, we need to complete the cycle. All right. So coming out of the oversold right now on both of those is meaningless. On the NQ, we need to hit the midpoint and get a down close because we're in the overbought and the red right now. On the gold, we need the same thing. We need to hit the midpoint and get a down close. Okay. And there it is on the NQ. So now we're looking for the down close on the NQ. Okay. Down close on the NQ. The gold did not do it. Came out of the overbought, but it never hit the midpoint. Okay. All right, we need the down close here on the NQ. Now the gold could have a trade. Okay, it just had a little gap down right there. The gold came out of the overbought there, so. And the NQ triggered too. Okay, so here's the NQ. And now we'll see what happens with it all. All right, the gold stop just went to break even. Here that is. Look at one tick on that. And we're out. One tick on the gold. Did we stop out on the NQ? We stopped out on the NQ too. All right, so let's put that in. I think it was one tick on the gold. Let me just check and make sure. Gold. Yeah, it was one tick on. No, wait a minute. Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, it was one tick on the gold. Sorry, I had a target out at 30, but it didn't actually hit that. That's something I saw. Surprised me for a second there. So it was one tick on the gold and minus another 25 on the NQ. So 50 there and 1 here. Okay, so 3 trades with 2 stop outs. Not our best day. But as I said, we've been having a lot of stop outs this week so far. All right, so neither the YM nor the ES completed the cycle. That's not a valid trade here. The NQ didn't complete the cycle either. The gold did actually complete the cycle from the one tick that we got back here. It did actually complete the cycle. Went all the way down to the oversold, came all the way back up into the overbought. So the gold actually does have another trade right now. And my stop is at break even again on that. I'm going to lock in one tick on that. There we go. Get down there. Go down to lock in more than one tick. All right. So we got 5 on that one. 6 took over trades. 4. Okay, we're getting there. And okay, let's go back here for a second. Trying to resolve another issue that I'm having right now. Okay. All right. All right, so here we need, right here, this was too high to have a trade right there. We need to get back into the overbought, come out of the overbought on that. The ES needs to get into the overbought, get back down into the oversold. The NQ could have another trade right here. Now it's too far away. It's not going to have a trade now. Okay. All right, so we need to hit the midpoint and get a down close here on the YM. We ended up with nothing here on the gold, and we still haven't completed the cycle here. We finally completed the cycle on the YM, though. Okay. And nothing. All right, nothing there. And now we are on the gold. We don't have anything going on right there. All right, it didn't make the full cycle there. Gold's going to flip to YBR, I think. And it is 1:27. We're running out of time. We have 2.5 minutes left. We're only one good trade away from getting where we want to be. This didn't complete the cycle. The YM was the only one that was going to be close to a trade here, but it's not anymore. It didn't hit the midpoint when it came out of the overbought right there, so that's not a trade. The gold is about to flip to YBR and putting out a fire. Okay, that's okay. It's not that you can delay as long as you want, Michael. It's not a crisis. That number doesn't play into anything else. Like this number right here, it's not used anywhere else. So this all these things adding down right here, it isn't really, I could delete that whole column and it wouldn't affect anything, I don't think. This number here, this number here, these numbers right in here, those are the ones that, this number down here, those are the ones that come into other formulas. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't come into any other formulas right now. Okay, so now on the gold, we need an up close. Okay, still need an up close on that gold. It's got a low 30.9. There's the up close, and here it is. My stop is going to break even. I'm going to lock in one tick. Need a really good trade here. And that's a good start. Lock in 10 on that. That could do it. 12. All right, that's going to bring us pretty close to positive on the session. All right. Go back here, and we have one more gold trade with 12 more ticks. That is 18, and that is now 5. So we're only down 70 now, after being down 50 on the NQ. We still have another half a minute here. We could get a little bit more out of something. This is not going to give us anything. This is not going to give us anything. This is not going to give us anything. So our only hope right now is another gold trade. Right at the moment. All right. We are running out of time, guys. We'll give it another minute or so. Okay. I'd like to get positive. The last day right here, we had a negative day. So I'd like to get positive right now on that. I can. So we need a pullback here. A pullback here. This is going to flip the YBR. So everything's in the green right now. And we're going to be flipping. All the YBRs are going to be bullish right now. Now, I was suggested that this is going to get up to this level, then retrace down to this level, and then get up to that level. That's by the end of the year, okay? I know I drew it here at the middle of December, but it's by the end of the year that I'm thinking all that's going to happen. One more, and that little guy found resistance up there. We'll give it one more minute here. And if we don't get another trade set up, then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. if you have not taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required. Just click on the purple button. It'll bring you to the registration page. Just fill out the registration page. Okay, you could have something here on gold. Fill out the registration page, and when you fill it out, once you fill it out, give us your TradingView login ID. Then we will be able to enable the indicators for you. We'll be able to enable the indicators.
NQ almost gave you a trade, but it didn't.
I know the NQ almost did. The gold almost did. I think I'm going to run out of time here. The gold's pretty close right now, though. Gold's pretty close. After it did that. I'm a little bit, but I really want to get this right. Okay, so this right here, when it paints, should be oversold. So now we need an up close on the gold. Let's get a low here at 35. So you'd be buying 36. Now low at 34.7. You'd be buying 35.7. Low 34.7. You'd be buying 35.7. Now the low is down to what? 34.4. Okay, the down close does not necessarily disqualify the trade. The midpoint just kind of edged down a little bit. But we'll still look for an up close here. If we can grab an up close here, that would be okay. This didn't end up being one over here on the NQ. We came out of the oversold here, and we hit the midpoint here. Now there's the up close finally on the gold. So here I just jumped on it, and it just went and bumped me to break even and took me out of break even. So I guess that's where we're going to wrap it up. It's almost gave me another trade right here, but this was it. It went up, bumped me to break even. It came right back down and took me out of break even. I needed 7 ticks in profit to get to break even overall in the session, but well, it'd be a white day. You know, if I only have 15 minutes to work with. That's what it is. So this was 6 trades. So the total stop out number here, paste that there. Oops, I guess we won't paste it there. We'll paste it here. There. Okay, so 66.7% of our trades this time around. We're break even or better. All right. If I did add in that last gold trade, right? Wow, and right there, if it didn't take us out of break even right there, we would have had everything we wanted. Anyway, that's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that. It's going to bring you to the registration page. Just fill it out. Down at the bottom, give us TradingView login ID. Okay. And with that, I can pass it back up. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city. Plane is ready to go.
Yes, sir. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 1 minute and 1 trade to get to $1,000 per contract.
Job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We'll pick up where we left off. We had gotten all. So that window of opportunity we drew in yesterday, that did fill. This was the open last night. We didn't make it all the way to the short target. Test of this low here. Buyers came in. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Yeah, that much blue and climbing chasing price. We know the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. I mean, look here. Pullback held and it 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 held. So eventually it's going to trade. And when you got a lot of blue and climbing like this, chasing price, that's when you'll most likely see it trade like it did. Then we consolidated at the zone, and then by shortly after the London Open, we hit the continued higher, putting in kind of a double top on the day. Failed to do was to take out this high from yesterday. It's a sign of weakness. Back to the zone at 58.90 support. That bounced us up zone. That's a slice. It's 10% of the time. get a slice. What typically happen is when move runs out of steam, price will retrace back to the zone it sliced through and continue in the direction of the slice. This time, moment, it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. Find support right here at the top side of the long target, as we often do. See right here. Then that could come to pass. Slice through the zone, trace another leg to the side. So, potential possibility. If we continue lower, we should look for support. In fact, yeah, 59.5, 59.0895. That's enough to get your support here at the zone right here. Okay, you had a bullish cross, led to an extended move. So the first time price revisits that area, almost always support. So if price continues lower, okay, right now it's sitting on top of support, top side of the long term. Takes out this low zone and this low, continues down. This area right here that I've highlighted, let's call it 58.75. Wherever you have a bullish or bearish cross, price revisits that area, it will almost resistance. Over here, see the bearish cross, red line got below the green line. Price got back to bearish cross. Now we spiked it 3 times, but as you can see, every one of them at or below bearish cross. Sent us back down to support, climbing, then eventually did over, finally closed above it. Now, this is today. This is Tuesday. This is Monday. New zones come out every Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the change and whatsoever. Okay. The open last night on gold. So we had a leg and a retracement. Price drops to a zone, we expect support. We had a little wick that almost touched the BTC. And that sent us right up to this candle here. Just this one candle. Fund add 42, call it 44. $700 up to the target. Again, this candle, and we're calling it 42, 52. It's $800. That 130-minute candle. So pull back, we get a leg, and as you can see, this high here failed to take out these highs. That's a sign of weakness. Not surprisingly, we sell off, make it back to the short target. In fact, we got a double bottom going on here. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing, took us back to the long. Now this time, climbed out of there, and the high of the day, if you look left, back to my see, what was that high? The high was 74 high. $73 point. So then we come back to the BBC. Back holds. Bounce. Now we got red and falling overhead. Prices below the BBC. Potential support here. Right here. Find ourselves at the short target. It's over. Here's where we opened last night. We ran into a zone resistance. Sent us back to the BBC and see the pullback held. So we get another leg. Now this all started yesterday morning. Had a leg and a retracement. Leg. Retracement. And then we got a leg and a retracement. And this time, see, this time we had all this red and falling, chasing price. That's when we trade short target. Actually, a little support. It's got to go look at resistance. Traded through. See here. Spike the zone. And basically failed to take out this high. Right here. Failed to take it out by just a little bit. It's a sign of weakness. So back down we come. Buyers come in before short target this time. We're still below the BBC, and we're in the process of getting a bearish cross. We are printing a green candle. So if this candle, which has 17 minutes left in its lifespan, if it can close above the BBC, then we back up to test this weekly zone. If it otherwise, down to test this low, target, and this zone. Missed any part of today's broadcast, we went through every market in granular fashion as we do each and every day. As soon as I sign off, go to youtube.com/CFRN. And you can watch today's broadcast in its entirety. In fact, on our YouTube channel, we have over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. One last look at the daily chart. Okay, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast how we've had this sideways consolidation for 1, 2, 3. Today was the 4th day, but it looks like we're about to take that out. Okay, so remember 68.70 is potential resistance. High of this candle. 68.92.5 is potential resistance. And then 6900.5 is potential resistance. Right here where blue red 6909, that's potential resistance. You take out this little hump right here, it's sailing up to the all-time historic intraday and just got a bullish cross. Got a double bottom down here. So this climb is coming off. Looks like it wants to move higher. Okay. All right. To become a member, you will email Valerie support@cfrn.net. Just let her know you want to become a member. Ask her to explain the monthly subscription to you. She will. She'll send you all the paperwork you need to become a member. You're an official passport holder. 2 hours of live training every. Top of the 2 hours of live interactive training, you'll get private one-on-one mentoring. No extra cost. You just have to ask. Strategy, you learn the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all. This is not just futures. Same indicators, the same strategy, work identically the same. Stocks, Forex, ETFs, because price flows the same. It's all markets and all time. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over again. It's a never-ending cycle. This is why it's so important that you learn the chart so that you know ahead of time where to anticipate resistance, anticipate support. Learn how to read the chart using the Logic 247 alerts. Also get the concierge trade alerts every evening, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open, 5:55 p.m. Eastern. Session will start tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday session will end at 5 p.m. Eastern, an hour after stocks close. Hour break. Sweep the floor. Trades. Market will spring back to life tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. That will be the beginning of the Thursday session until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Zones. In 11 days, have our 16th anniversary. Publish the weekly trading zones for our members every week. 6. The zones are published Monday morning. They're carved in stone for the entire week. Change. Be able to attend as a passport holder. Only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you'll get the keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs. All under one roof. Just email Valerie, support CFR. Let's wrap it up with a word for today. Become a better listener. Never forget it. It is best to listen. James 1:18. Take time to listen to another person. Don't just give them a gift, give yourself one. Dr. Julie Slattery observes, everyone is attracted to a good listener. How ironic that you can major in communications and never take a class on one of the most fundamental aspects of communication, listening. Perhaps the most powerful mode of sharing the gospel, saving your marriage, and making friends is to be a good listener. Feel loved by those who take the time to hear our story and ask insightful questions. Here are 3 ways that you become a listener. 1. Every person you meet is interesting. On the surface, they may drone on and on about something you don't. underneath is an interesting story. Take time to dig. For me, the first step in listening is finding something to be curious about. After 5 years of marriage, I still want to be curious about my wife, what God is teaching her, she's looking forward to. Laugh today. Number 2, maintain eye contact. Because we can't gauge listening by looking at someone's ears or eyes. We show our children, our spouses, our friends, and even strangers respect. Give them attention. And number 3, go beyond the words you hear. Only communicate a portion of what we express through words. The rest comes through body language, tone, and silence. Proverbs 12:15 says, "Fool thinks he needs no advice. Wise man listens to others." As much as you may like the sound of your own voice, wise by learning to listen. Sir, today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you. His mercy. See you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.